Hello again guys, and welcome back to another brand new Zatu Games unboxing with me, Tom, from The Honest Meeple. Today we are going to be unboxing a game full of mystery and secrets. You, a character, have to make your way across the wasteland, through the fallout zone, and eventually uncover what is inside the centre of the power plant found in Chernobyl. I am of course talking about the game from Rebel Games, Zona, The Secret of Chernobyl. So guys, this is Zona, The Secret of Chernobyl from Rebel Games. I'm super excited to get into this because I was a massive fan of the video game Stalker that came out, must be back in the early 2000s, I think. But essentially the game centred on the fact that you were a kind of not rebel, but kind of someone who was being just thrown into this wasteland, and you essentially have to make your way. There's been another disaster in the area surrounding Chernobyl, and you have to make your way and find out all these secrets and basically advance the story along. Fantastic game. I won't go too much into it, but this is kind of, I think, paying homage slightly to this. So let's open the top of the box up and see what is inside. So first off, we have the instruction manual, which looks kind of more like a well, it's certainly a cool looking instruction manual, but yeah, essentially, and this is, I'll show you the map. So this is the map that you'll be working across. You've got the sarcophagus, and which is where you're trying to get to. But in the meantime, you have to go across the map and kind of get to all of these. There's 4 secret areas, and you get secrets from there, and then you can advance to the sarcophagus. So looking at it, yeah, it's. I will say I have already opened this game, so I've played it once or twice. So it's not a completely blind unboxing. However, the instruction manual was really good. Everything that you need is in there. Slightly scattered about, however, nothing missing, which is always good. I played it solo for the first time, so I've got solo game mode there, and the artwork in this is very Stalker-esque. I like it. That is the instruction manual. Right, onto the characters in the game. So there is a whole stack of characters. So first off, you have Ivan Gulbiev. He's Spec, apparently, but he's a mercenary. You then have Andrei Smirnov, a rat. Lovely, he's a smuggler. You have Lukas Sokolov, he's a priest, mystic. Valerian Kruglov, a trapper. He's also a hunter. So obviously it says trapper, but the character's a hunter. So Danila Morozov, shadow spy. Lydia Gavrilov, sharp. She's a scientist. Now, he looks cool. I didn't play him last time. I played as the mercenary. But yeah, this is Sava Koshnienko, Golem, a misfit. So you can show this camera here as well. It's looking pretty damn cool. Then you have Kostya Fyodorov, professor, drunkard. Tamara Petrenko, tourist, prospector. Oleg Voronin, growler, loner, and we're back to the beginning. So there are in total 3, 6, 9, there's 10 characters in total that you can play throughout this game. So leave that off to the side. With that, you then also get 4 character boards. This is where all your items are going to go. This is where you're going to track your reputation, etc. You can see there. What next? We'll go with this. So this is the market board, where you'll be buying your wares from. And now the map, which we'll leave until later, because I'll open it up and then we can properly see. So we'll go with the cards. So these cards, they're kind of split into decks, but you have these are artifacts that you'll be collecting through the game. You then have these cards here, which essentially dictate damage. So there's an emission track. Every time you draw a card from the emission deck, you'll see here there is actually a little symbol at the top left, which tells you how far it advances along the track. The track is 5 long. I'll show you on the map. And essentially, when you hit that, you then draw one of these cards. And if it helps, if it's the right way up, that then shows you how much damage you then take. Damage is split into 3 things. I can't remember the names of it, but essentially different equipment will block different damage, which is a nice little addition to the theme there. Actually, it will tell us on here. So you get radiation, mental and physical damage. So yeah, this is just a reference card. So back to the small deck, you have the emission cards. So you'll be drawing these. These will basically be events at the end of each go. You then have, these are the secrets that are put into the secret locations. So these are powerful items that will come in helpful, but you'll need to have, these aren't the secrets, these are from the secret locations, but these aren't the secrets themselves. I'll come to those in a minute. You then have starting items for all of the characters, which is going to kind of negate dice roll. So this, when fighting, you'll get a lot of dice rolling, etc. You can see here this. If you use the trotter key, you can then remove up to 2 minuses from a will test. I think it's will. I've got to check now. Yeah, willpower. So these are then, you have 2 sets of items available. You have the junk, and then you have like the proper items. So you know, you're getting air filters, jackets, night vision goggles, and the junk is more kind of smaller items that are going to help you, are necessary but aren't as powerful, but cost less. That's those there. Next up, let's go with the kind of the exertion dials. So you can exert throughout the game. It's basically your tiredness. Every time you go past 5, you'll take a damage, but you can reduce your willpower by resting and going to barracks in the centre. Not barracks. Shelters in the centre of the map. Go through the tokens quickly. You have damage tokens. You also have the -1 on the. I'll show you. Dropping everything. So as you can see at the top here, you then have various stats. Every time you take damage, so in this case for the mercenary, if you take 6 damage and you were to go on to 7 or more, you would then have to place a -1 stat on there. So it means when you're rolling, you're going to get less of a result, essentially. So that's the mercenary. So you know, these stats are definite. It's then the dice that I'll show you in a sec that will affect these. You have the money that's used in the game. So these are quite interesting. I'll take them out. So these are essentially, these go on the secret locations, and these are locks. You have to unlock these in order to get into the secret location. They range in kind of, so I mean, you look at that, you have to take 6 radiation damage. Here you have to discard 1,000, I forget the currency in this. But basically 1,000 money, and that's going to allow you to go into that location. that's a lot of money actually when you play this. I thought it was like, I'll go for that one, that'll be easy. Not at all. You then have basic reputation markers, the emissions kind of anomaly token, and then finally you have, this is the emissions tracker. I'll show you where that goes on the map in a second. And then the voice of sonar token. Now the way this game works is there are various decisions that need to be made throughout the game that are going to affect all the players. It's going to affect locations, and essentially the voice of Zona is the person who has this marker. This passes round, and they can make the decisions. They can benefit themselves, they can screw over everyone else, they can do both, or vice versa. It's completely up to them, which adds a nice little element to the game. Of course, in solo it's different. So let's get these big cards out now. So I'll show you. You've got the big reference cards, really helpful in the game. Found these, incredibly useful as a reference card. Gave you the turn order, what to test, what to encounter, and then mainly the explanation of the icons at the bottom is great. You then have, these are event cards. So the map is split up into green, yellow, red, and the sarcophagus zones. If you're in green or yellow, whichever one you're in, you'll take a card from the relevant deck at the end of each turn, and it will basically give you an event that you have to resolve. So you've got your, if you're in the factory, you do the top one, proving grounds, you do this one, and then anywhere else in the yellow zone, you'll do this one. I won't show too much because it's there's a bit of story on there. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, really nice addition. You then have these are the cards for the secret locations, very much the same. I'm not going to turn these over because they have obviously scenarios on, but yeah, very similar to the event cards. If you're on a secret location, instead of drawing the event cards from green or yellow, you'll draw from this one. And then finally, the sarcophagus event, there's stuff going on there as well. Again, if you're in this location during the event, you'll then take one of these cards. These are really tough. I've played this twice now. I failed both times. Not at the sarcophagus, before I'd even got there. But yeah, this is, you need to be prepared, or you will fail miserably. So I'm going to pull these out now. I'm just going to show this camera here so you can see. So essentially, these are the enemies and the anomalies you're going to be coming across as you cross the wasteland of Chernobyl. These are foul, some of these. As you can see, the flesher is pretty damn grim. You get the toaster. Yeah, there's. I'm not going to go through too much because it's who doesn't love a bit of a phlegm? So yeah, you'll draw these again. These are split up into green and yellow. The game will dictate when to place them, or you will have to place them as a decision. And then you fight them. It's got all information on the back on how to fight them. I'll go back up to this camera here so you can see. Essentially, you'll have, there's 2 tests you can do. And depending on what you're fighting, depends on what you're testing. But you pass both of those and you'll get money in this case. Fail the first or the second one and you'll be taking damage on both, or either or. Yeah, it's a nice little system, and you get a nice little tray to put them all in. How lovely. And finally, we'll get on to the miniatures. I'm going to put the lid back on the game. There we go. So you can see that it's definitely a Zona. So these are the miniatures. So we'll get to the dice first. These are the dice that are going to basically affect your stats. You have, if you get pluses, you +1 for each dice. Minuses, -1 for each dice. That does nothing. So yeah, they're basically stat modifiers. But yeah, it makes it slightly more interesting, especially as my dice rolling is utter crap. But there are the dice, and finally we get to the miniatures. So we'll have a look at a few of these. So this is the mercenary. You can see there. Really nice sculpts. Obviously these are literally just player markers to move around the map. And to be honest, I quite like the fact that you have miniatures for the players, and then the basic kind of cards for the enemies and the stuff you're coming across. I think too many minis can ruin a game, if anything. Yeah, the minis are lovely, but too many, it gets crowded and gets silly. That's the Misfit again, another really nice sculpt. We'll go with the, so look at this is the Smuggler, showing off his wares, going, come on, let's buy some stuff. So yeah, those are the sculpts. I won't get them all out, but yeah, as I say, take my word for it, they're really nice sculpts, really nice minis, and yeah, as I say, just the right amount. So finally, that brings us on to the map. So, with our classic click, you have our map, our board, essentially. Now, I've tried to get everything in as much as possible. So basically, across this map, you've got the red area. So you've got Pripyat, power plant, Moscow Eye, and then the sarcophagus, which is where you want to be entering. This side is actually for the, oh, pardon me, this is for the 3 to 4 player variant. I say variant, if you play with 3 to 4 players, you use this side. Then there's another side for solo and 2 player. You then have the yellow zone. You've got Misty Hill Proving Grounds, Factory, Red Forest, White Lake, and Chernobyl. You also have the Roadhouse, which is a camping area, so you can rest and recuperate. Moving on to the green zone, you then have the quarry, farms, frontier, junkyard, barracks, and wetlands, and then 2 more camping areas. Again, this is obviously going to, if you're in these areas, you're going to take a green event card, which are these. If you're in the yellow areas, you're going to be taking a yellow event card, which are these. Really simple. Now, obviously, to get to the secret locations, you'll notice that there are kind of entrances. So, in order to get into secret location number 3, you must enter through Chernobyl. Secret location number 1, you must enter through the barracks. There's no other way to enter these at all. You have to go through those locations. Now, it's obviously you can only go in if you've unlocked it. So if you can't unlock, so obviously as I mentioned these, if you can't unlock these that are on the secret location, then you're not going to be able to get in. But yes, that is essentially the map. Again, really easy to navigate. There's various areas where you'll get kind of additional damage. There'll be things that you have to test in order to move on. And of course, you'll be coming up with the nasty enemies within Chernobyl. And that is Zona, the secret of Chernobyl. That is everything in the box. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the delights that are in this box. I will be doing a review on this. As I say, I've already played it and I am a big fan. I think more because of the fact that what this is kind of based, this is Stalker in a board game. I love it, and I'm excited to play more, especially with other people. Obviously, I've just been playing solo for the time being. With the voice of Zona, I can imagine it's slightly better. But yes, I'll be doing a review shortly, so do look out for that. If you would like to get hold of this game or any other game, you can go to zatu.co.uk. Link is in the bottom and on the screen right now. And if you use the code HonestMeeple5, you can get 5% off at checkout. That's off your whole order, so yes, thumbs up for that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you join me for my next video and the other videos that are put up on this channel. And as always, I will see you all next time.